Hi, I'm Erin Marcus, former corporate executive turned entrepreneur and founder and CEO of Conquer Your Business. Welcome to the Ready Yet podcast. We're excited to bring you more than 100 episodes of interviews and insights designed to help entrepreneurs get the financial and emotional freedom they need in order to build a business and a life they're proud of. All right. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Ready Yet podcast. Interestingly enough, I'm excited about this conversation today with my guest, Robert Brill, because he's good at something I suck at. So that's always good, right? So this might just be a conversation just for me. You never know. I might be the only one who gets something. No, I'm excited about it because it's a piece of the puzzle that's so important. And I've shied away from it because of the technology involved, truthfully. Really, it's just the technology that frustrates the bejesus out of me. Before we get into all that, why don't you tell everybody, wait a minute, what is she even going to be talking about? So tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Hi, I'm Robert Brill. I am the CEO and owner of Brill Media. We're an advertising agency. And just briefly about me, I've been in the advertising business for 20 years. And for the last 10 years, I've been growing Brill Media. And what we do is we run ads to generate leads and sales for clients. Most of our customers are going to be agencies, and we work with some businesses. And a lot of agencies are going to outsource their ad buying work to us. So they'll do creative or PR or build websites or search engine optimization. Their clients are asking for running ads, and we'll do the ad buying part for them.
Love it. So here, I cannot be alone. I'm going to be very sad if I'm alone in this. I doubt it. Ads I get.
Yeah.
Target market. Maybe it's an age thing with television. I have a journalism degree, the newspaper ads. I get all that. The thing that made that world frustrating to me was social media, because it complicated the process by changing the algorithm every time you find out what works. Like TV didn't do that. TV, newspaper, radio, we did the back in the day, right? As I sound like the get off my lawn guy, right? But back in the day, the goal was to make it work.
Yeah.
Find your audience, find what lands, give you that spot. And I feel like they flipped the script to say, I'll give you a period of time to figure it out. But as soon as you figure it out, we want to make more money. So we're going to change the process.
Right.
I got annoyed and stopped.
So let's take a step back. So for everyone listening, what we're talking about. So what's the difference between marketing and advertising in general is when you are spending money to deliver a message.
Yes.
So if you're posting on Facebook or Instagram or posting on TikTok, but you're not spending money to deliver the message to people, it's not advertising.
I agree.
Marketing is the sort of higher level idea. You're doing press and PR, you're doing SEO, websites, creative development. Advertising is one thing that rolls up to marketing.
Absolutely.
Posting on social is another one. So the challenge is that you're right, the algorithms change dramatically and frequently. And social media for the last 15 years has, primarily with Meta, with Facebook, has incentivized businesses to post a lot of content and then slowly take away access to the audience. And so the way to reach more people more effectively is by spending money with ads. There's 10 million businesses on Meta that are advertising. Most of them are going to be small businesses, and a lot of those companies are boosting posts. What a lot of companies don't realize is that boosting posts is advertising. It's just not called advertising. It's called boosting
spending
posts.
Money. I agree.
You're spending money. The challenge with boosting posts that I think is fundamentally broken is that it's the easy button. There's no strategy. There's no thinking. There's just, you can spend money, spend $30 and get your ads in front of a few hundred people, or your messages in front of a few hundred people. The challenge with that is that the default setting for boosting a post is engagement, likes, comments, and shares. We all know you can't pay the bills with likes, comments, and shares.
Right.
So if you don't do anything, you just boost a post, you're already doing the wrong thing, because you don't need likes, comments, and shares. Maybe as part of a larger strategy that's relevant, but for most people, you're advertising to generate sales. And so you're actually telling Facebook to do the thing that is not relevant for your business. There's a setting inside Facebook for you to optimize to a lead, so people share their information with you, or a sale. That's what you should be spending money on.
Yes.
And you can do that a little bit with boosting posts, but in aggregate, it's hard to like look at data over time. It's hard to look for calibration points. It's hard to really gain an insight about your business by boosting a post, which is why we tell all our clients 100% of the time, never boost a post because in my opinion, you're wasting money.
I totally agree with you. One of the things that I tell my clients all the time and that I talk about is, and I love your definition of marketing versus advertising. I think a lot of people do not get these definitions correct.
Yeah.
And so they've got wavy lines instead of solid borders in between what they're doing, and they're not understanding what they're doing. But to me, sticking with social media for a minute, unless you are spending money and unless you are truly, for most of us, engaging with someone who, like you, who really knows how to do this, social media is a credential, not a sales funnel.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a re-engagement and
Yeah.
that organic connection, hence the word social,
Yeah.
until you intentionally turn it into a sales process.
Yeah. Look, every business is looking for predictable, repeatable, and scalable. That's what you need. So if you can create 3 videos a day and post to TikTok and that brings in business, do that all
Great.
day.
Mm-hmm.
But for most businesses, it's really hard to create good content in a way that compels people to buy stuff for a
Yes.
lot of reasons. There's a lot of friction points there, right? You don't know how to, a lot of people don't want to be the face of the brand. A lot of people don't know how to film and create content that is interesting. A lot of people, the most interesting part about it is I think a lot of people don't know what their customers resonate with.
Oh my God, I was just going to say, I was going to ask you, what is the biggest mistake people make? And to me, that's it. They don't do the work before they go to work.
And it's hard. Like
Oh,
if you're not a marketer, you're not really going to know exactly what your audience wants or how to even find what your audience wants. You're going to do what you think is relevant for you because you have a very inside baseball perspective on what your business does, which is why it's so incredibly difficult for the business owner to market your own business.
yes.
So there's a way around that.
Right. You're not just so too close to it where you've got your own fears and stories and limiting beliefs involved. You're
Right.
also too close to it, meaning you've got too much jargon, too much about your topic. So you're talking over people's heads. It's bottom line, you're way too close to your own stuff, right?
Exactly. And I've had this trouble myself. You know what? The way we approach client business, approach client business and our own business is we take a testing approach. So we work in $25 sprints. The idea on $25 sprints is that I'm going to write out problems that my customers have and I'm going to work backwards from there. So
Mhm.
understanding the problems your customers have can come from your sales calls. It can come from feedback on social media, comments. It can come from people on Reddit or on Twitter or X who are talking about the general topic, the general industry that you serve. So if you understand exactly what your customers' pain points are, maybe there's 10 possible pain points. You go into meta advertising, you run a sprint, and you understand out of the 10 or 15 or 20 ads that you've created, which language is most interesting to your customer by click-through rate and cost per click. You then start to understand what you should focus on. You don't have this wide world of opportunity. You're narrowing down into exactly what resonates. And this does 2 things. Number one, it helps you sell better. And number two, you're achieving product market fit. Product market fit is this idea that you understand how to talk about your business in a way that will get people to buy from you. And by the way, it also includes pricing, right? So
Yeah.
for example, in Los Angeles, you never see Caribbean fast food. It sounds great to me. I would eat it, but there's no Caribbean fast food because there's no market for it. People don't want Caribbean fast food. So you can have the absolute best Caribbean fast food in the world, but if you come to Los Angeles with the concept, you're not going to be successful. And I'm sure companies have tried. You have a product, could be the best product in the world, but there's no market.
There's no market for it. I see
There's no
that
market.
all over, that you've created your product in a bubble. The other thing I see people do is try to create a product where there's the absolute best competition to their product is free. I
Like
see
music
that
business.
I see that in financial services.
Yeah.
I see that I come out of financial services, and the companies with tons of money, the insurance companies, the financial service companies, are giving away free content that is masterfully created in order to get clients. If you're trying to sell what they're giving away for free and theirs is better than yours,
Yeah, you're going to have problems.
you're going to have problems. You're going to have problems. And it's really knowing your entire, what is it? Your compensation is directly tied to how hard it is to replace you.
Right. Yeah, the moving, what's it called? The change costs. Like
Yeah.
changing banks is ridiculous.
Oh my
It
God, I
is.
wanted to change banks so many times. I've gotten so mad. And here's the thing, not only is it a pain in the butt, but I know the next bank's not going to really be any better.
The
So
next bank's not going to be any better. And inevitably, so it's completely off topic, but in terms of one thing that is relevant to entrepreneurs as an organization, take a moment, take a few hours over the next week, look at your bank account and write down every recurring fee that you have in your bank account. Every transaction that's automated for personal or for business, because eventually your account is going to get hacked at some point, or you're going to click on the wrong text message and you're going to get
oh
phished or
yeah.
whatever the case is. Eventually it's going to happen. And when it happens, you will be so thankful that you had a list of all the transactions that need to be changed. Like I paid for Aflac for a decade and then we just forgot about it. We had to change banks. And now 2 years later, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Where's Aflac?
Where'd my Aflac go? Where'd
Yeah,
my DI go?
because we just lost track of it and we
It's
changed
crazy. That's
credit
a
cards at
really
one
good
point.
point. Before, when we were chatting before we hit record, we were talking about AI. We were talking about using AI tools for efficiency as opposed to replacing people. And I think it's a really good indication. Okay, so you lost track of a DI policy.
Yeah.
What are we losing track of in our businesses
Yeah.
because they're on autopilot?
Yeah. Look, I think there's two ways about
Oh, I
it. Oh,
lost.
sorry.
There you
Sorry.
go.
There's two ways about it, in my opinion. I made a TikTok video saying that if you make systems customer facing, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to hurt your business. And someone must be like a Gen Z was like, that's an L take. That's a losing take. You're wrong about that. I'm like, okay, first of all, I learned something new, how to
You can
classify
just say
things.
L. We
That's
used
an
to do
L.
this.
That's an L take. But there's clearly some people who believe that they can automate everything and put AI into the market as a representation of their business. I disagree with that because I think AI is not ready for that. What I think AI is good for is accelerating your business. I think
Yes.
it's good for Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, has a private WhatsApp chat group where they're taking bets on when the first billion-dollar company will be created with one human being and a bunch of AI.
And a bunch of it. Here's the thing. I think the caveat to this, and I agree with you, I
Mhm.
think the caveat is what you're selling. I
Yeah,
think if you are selling a low risk, low price product,
yeah,
okay, fine. What you and I are selling,
yeah.
you don't sell what we sell without a conversation.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to give me the amount of money I charge having never spoken to me.
100%. And AI could be good. I had a video go viral off of a demonstration of AI making sales calls. And it was great. It got 260,000 views on TikTok. That's the only time I ever went viral on TikTok, which speaks to one of the challenges with social media content posting. If you can't do it repeatedly, you don't really have
Right.
anything to scale on. But the idea is it could be good for appointment setting. Like it could be. And I think, but fundamentally, the challenge is you have to be really good at making AI sound like people. And that's very hard for non-experts to do.
And it depends on your business. One of the things that a small business has, and I'm going to say anything under $10 million, we don't have room for redundancy in personnel. We don't yet. If you're under $10 million, you don't really have enough money for the redundancy. Like when you're in corporate
Yeah.
and you have, I remember in corporate, like you're lucky if for the 8 hours that people are in the office, if you're getting 90 minutes of quality work out of someone, it's like a modern miracle. Small business doesn't operate on that. So maybe if your business is so huge and your volume is so large that your work to success ratio is almost irrelevant, right? You got more money to throw at the problem.
Right.
All right, fine, because then your lower success rates are built into your business. You're
Right.
under $10 million. That's just not our world.
You need everyone to work
Yeah.
twice as hard. And to get some of these systems set up, it takes anywhere from starting at $25,000 just to get access.
Right.
There's no guarantee it's going to actually work. So it's a bit of
And to me, I'm looking at it as a huge opportunity and having fun with it. We use all sorts of AI tools internally, makes our life so much easier. My podcast is a few years old now, and what we can do now versus what we had to go through when we started this, it's like,
Sure.
oh my God, a click of a button and poof, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
most, again, with that $10 million mark really is such a delineation. You're going to
Mhm.
run out of money before you figure it out.
Yeah, I think there's small things you can do, but I think at scale it's going to be really hard.
Yeah.
I would experiment with a lot of things. I just wouldn't base a business around that until it's proven. At every step of the way, unless you're like you said, a massive corporation, you set a hypothesis, you test it, either it works or it doesn't work, and you move forward. But at the end of the day, if I can spend $10,000 on LinkedIn and get clients every year, or every month, I will 100% do that. If you can
Yeah.
use AI to generate calls and leads that are turning into business, do it. You've got to tinker. I think it's important for people to be a tech tinkerer in this moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did you get into this? Right? What's the origin story here? How did we decide that this is the thing we're going to do?
The origin story is 1995. I got a computer and I thought it was the most amazing thing. I was 14 years old.
Ugh, are you serious?
Yeah, I was 14 years old, and I already felt like I was behind because like my friends had like dial-up AOL like in 92 or 93. I was like, oh, I'm a little
I
behind.
did have a friend. I do want to say I had a couple of friends in high school. This would have been in 86 and 87
Oof, yeah.
with the dial-up bulletin boards.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No one could
And
use the phone while they were doing the thing.
yeah, and yeah. And I was really excited about it. I thought there's so much opportunity. And then I went to college, got an internship working for a startup advertising agency, which never went anywhere. But they told me what you could do in advertising, and the math part felt really interesting. Anyway, graduated from college. Actually, while I was still in college, I worked at Universal Music, which was doing social. It was basically social marketing before it was called social. It was
Mm.
called guerrilla
Guerrilla
marketing.
marketing, yep.
We were in forums
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah. And
How did we go from gorillas to influencers? I don't understand.
which is which is better and which is worse.
Which is right.
Yeah, and so 2 weeks out of college, I got my first job at an ad agency, Universal McCann, and I've been working in advertising for the last 21 years.
Nice. And you
And
decided, screw this, I'm going to do it all by myself.
yeah, it just became a moment. I think there was about a year and a half where I was thinking about it, but I was like, yeah, I don't know. Like I have a good job. There's a book called, actually, I don't know what the book is called, but it's the concept, good is the enemy of great. Like
Yes.
if you have a good job that's
So
paying you
true.
enough, like it's going to be challenging to leave that and start from zero. But anyway, circumstances allowed me to, the business that I was working for, the man at the top was doing something maybe not ideal, and the company went bankrupt. And so basically I was like, okay, if I'm going to start all
I was
over,
gonna say, you
start,
got pushed off the cliff. You didn't jump off the cliff, but
I
either
got
way,
pushed
we're
off the
falling
cliff.
off the cliff. Got it.
100%. You got to get pushed off the cliff. And it was good. But I immediately started the business and then took a full-time job because I just wasn't ready to deal with all the challenges, the risk, the stuff I didn't know. I knew how to do ad buys for corporations like ConocoPhillips and whatnot, but I didn't know how to run a business. So it's a very
It's
different
so
skill.
true. It's so different. And this is where I see people, one, not get it right, but two, beat themselves up. Like you could be the absolute best at the thing that the business does.
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do with running and growing a business. And yet there's like a disconnect there. People think, oh, I'm a great lawyer. I'm a great ad buyer. I'm a great website designer. Pick a
Yeah.
lane.
Yeah.
Of course, I'll just throw my shingle out there, build it, and they will come. I'll just
Right.
tell a couple people how great I am, and the floodgates will
Right.
open. And lo and behold.
Yeah, I think that the challenge fundamentally is that no one is really skilled at being a business owner. You got to learn it. You might be skilled at it, but usually people are good at the practitioner work of something, whether you're a plumber, air conditioning guy,
Mhm.
advertising person, like whatever you're doing, you do it really well. But sales and marketing, no one ever trained you for sales and marketing. No one ever trained you to be a manager of people in an effective way. No one ever trained you to manage your money in a way that's going to last long. You don't have any advice or feedback on how to deal with the stress and the pressures of running a business in a way that's effective. Like all those things for me had to be learned.
Yeah. And one of the things that I say is your business is a system. And I'll give you my example. I was trained in sales and marketing and leadership, like literally. I have an
Right.
MBA in marketing and executive leadership, right? I was literally trained in it. What got me was the mindset piece. That's what got me. So I leave corporate, awards, accolades, Erin's so brilliant. What could possibly go wrong? And my big, oh my God, was you realize you were very successful on a narrow path that somebody else created.
Right.
And here's your IT guy, and you don't have to worry about your paycheck because this woman will make sure you get paid. And you don't have to worry about the website because that guy's going to run the website. And right. And it doesn't matter how autonomous your job was and
Yeah.
how high up on the ladder you go. You're still in corporate. When you have a job, you are a piece of a process that somebody else created.
100%.
And that was a very rude awakening.
Yeah. Like you think you're really great at things, and then big life punches you in the face and it's like your website's down. Bro, I don't know how to do
Right.
websites.
I don't
I
know
don't
what
want
to
to
do.
I don't want to spend money on websites. One of the
Exactly.
mistakes I made is I didn't have an accountant for longer than I should have. And when I realized I made tens of thousands of dollars, I forgot to invoice one of our clients for like multiple tens of thousands of dollars. I was like, yeah, I probably need an accountant at this
Someone to
point.
keep an eye on that, right? I'm like, your business is a whole system. I don't know if you remember, it was like a vaudeville act, and I remember it when I was a kid. The guy with all the poles, and there's plates spinning on the pole.
100%.
He's running from pole to pole. So that's your business, right? We got sales, marketing, team building, client fulfillment, web unit branding, and then mindset is a platter, right? Mindset is a platter on its own pole.
Yeah,
And it finance, legal, and at any given operation systems, right? And at any given moment, one of those plates is falling.
100%. I just never stopped working. It almost ruined my relationship. Like I'm now happily married for 7 years, but there was a time when we broke up because I was so hard to deal with because I was constantly working, always stressed, really frenetic. And we'd go somewhere. I'd have to have my laptop with me to fix some
So
random
how did
thing.
you change that? Because that's my world, not that I'm doing that. Those are my clients. I call it
Yeah.
the folks going from me to we,
Yeah.
getting over that bridge. What did you do to change? I'll say you're out of hours in the day, you're out of days in the week. It's
Yeah.
different work, not more work. But there's got to be, again,
It
that,
is more work. It is more work because it's different work and you're not good at any of it.
and you're not good at any of it. So you've got to do less work, but it's scarier work.
Right.
So
Yeah.
how,
I mean,
what made you decide, you know what? Most people, this is like where I give you all the accolades, because most people will retreat. Most people will retreat and keep the business that they will settle for
yeah.
instead of get over the bridge.
My wife gives me really good advice. I have a really great life partner in her, and she's very good at contextualizing things in a way that you see like the bigger picture. And
Mhm.
sometimes I won't listen and sometimes I do, but I spend a lot of time reframing how I see the world. That's really it. I
I,
had to get punched in the face and stomped down really hard in order for me to take a step back, hear the world in a different way, and change my perspective on things. And when I started to do that work, it turned into opportunity. And I still do that at every step of the way. There's mistakes I made. We hired people. There's one summer we tripled our staff and no one was happy. I'm doing more work that I don't want to be doing. Clients are dissatisfied. The people we hired are dissatisfied. I was like, what is happening?
Mhm.
I'm not a I'm not a good leader. I'm not good at motivating people because I just think like everyone is like me. And in my head, I'm
Excited to do work 80 hours a day. Yeah.
excited to work 80 hours and also very hard on myself. I'm very hard on myself. There's no one else I'm harder. It's like and then when that starts to project outwards,
Yeah.
it's a really bad look. So I learned from a lot of people who are far better at that than I am. And also, we set up a standard operating procedure, which was
Mhm.
very important, right? So the minute you have people like you need to tell them what they need to be doing, otherwise, they're not going to be successful because they don't know how to be successful because there's no goals for them to achieve the success you've created. And so, with the standard operating procedure, people stay with us longer, both clients and our employees, and we've grown our team and substantially grown our revenue because there's a space for that growth to happen.
Yeah. And one of the things that I watch, and I love that you're talking about how internal this was. It was internal for you, it was internal for the business. That all had to be orchestrated
Yeah.
because the other mistake I watch people retreat and give up, but the other thing I watch people do is they try to solve all business problems with marketing tactics.
Oof, no.
Right? Have you ever seen that where like I need more money and all this is going wrong, so I'm going to write a book or I'm going to start a
Okay.
podcast. And I have a book and a pod. It's not
Yeah.
that the tactic's wrong.
Right.
It's you can't solve every problem with a marketing tactic that's supposed to bring in revenue.
Because what's the point of marketing if your operations team can't keep the client?
Exactly. Exactly.
And I'm very stubborn. I think that's a big part of my success. And as a result, like I try to do things fast. That's not always the best way of doing it, but I definitely try. I will not give up. I'm like a dog with a bone.
It's the resiliency and the
Yeah.
persistency and the difference between that working in your favor and knowing when it's working against you.
I'm also open to being wrong. Our chief operating officer, she's fantastic. She's very much about empathy and people. And I'm like, yeah, I want you leading our organization.
Because nobody wants you leading, right?
Yeah, because I create drama and stress. I don't want to create
Right.
stress. I don't want to make people feel bad. I want our business to succeed. But unfortunately, because I've been in my head my entire life, I am so hard. I'm so hard on people and myself because that's just that's a constant dialogue I have in my head. So it's better if it's not me that's trying to get people to do stuff. It's better if other people are doing
And
them
I
what I
have the
do.
same thing. In my business, the thing that I should never be in charge of is processes and operations.
Mm.
I won't follow them. I will break them. I should not be the one creating the processes. Create
And
the
you need an
processes and
enforcer.
teach me my little corner of the process. I'll do what I'm told. And I don't want to get in the mix of that. And I think it's so important. Like the hardest thing you can do, and you've done it over and over again, is to have an honest conversation with yourself.
Yeah.
It's so hard to really have honest conversations with yourself and then actually do something with the muck that you uncover.
It's challenging because the question I always have is who's right? Do I trust myself or do I trust you? And I have a shorthand for that. If it's marketing and advertising, I will trust myself. And then I will look for experts to augment what I know so I can
Mhm.
do it better. Not with like with the paid media, I have a great staff and they're doing exceptional work. So I'm not worried about that. But like content creation on TikTok, like I'll trust that's the thing I need to do and then find people who could make me better at it, or SEO, for example.
Yeah.
Same type of thing. But with stuff that I'm not good at, I have to understand and accept that I'm not going to be good at that, like the empathy part of it. And I will defer to other people and actively learn from them. So being wrong, accepting being wrong, I think is one of the biggest
Huge.
ways that I can improve because then I can accept that maybe someone else is doing it better than me.
Love it. I watched a Gary V video and caught it on TikTok. And it was talking about making decisions and wanting to be right versus being scared to be wrong. And that what's holding most business owners back is they want to make 3 decisions and they want all 3 decisions to be right. They want to be 3-0. I'm trying to be 117 and 82 by tomorrow.
Right. Right. Like,
Yeah.
just get me to the success part. I don't care who's right. I
Yeah.
could be wrong. It doesn't
I
matter.
could be wrong all the time.
I could be wrong all the time. It's still my business and I still win. So it's actually
Right, exactly. It's this like it that I think is one of the difficult things, because as entrepreneurs, small business owners, there's so little, if any, separation between us and our business. And yet, if you really only see your business as an extension of yourself, it can get real hard to have that open conversation, the honesty with yourself, and make those decisions.
there's a lot of emotional and the feeling part of the business that I think a lot of people don't talk about.
Yeah.
It's hard. Like, when things don't go well, it takes a toll on the person, the family, the household.
Yep.
It's not about the money. It's about the feeling of stress and anxiety.
Oh, yes. So how do you alleviate your stress? Let's get a little life.
I don't alleviate the stress.
Good.
I let it,
That's not
I let it fuel me, really, is what it
okay.
is. I like going to Dodgers games and whatnot, but I'm always thinking about how do things improve? I want to improve things.
I think if your intention, I think it really, whether or not that harms or helps you, is dependent on your intention underneath it. If you have no stress relief and you're taking action to heal an unsolved inner wound, you're going to have problems. But if you're truly striving for more and it's exciting and you're creating.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. Sometimes it's I really enjoy the work that I do. So that's a big part of it, but also the stress component or the individual things that are challenging me, I try to solve for. So it's a common. My wife says that this job is both my job and my hobby. I really like doing it. I really like the work. There's nothing else I'd rather be doing. But I also like winning. Winning is fun.
Winning is fun. I say that about myself all the time. I have no attention span, which makes me good in Vegas, because winning is fun, but losing is not fun. There's nothing in me that says just keep going, it'll turn around, because by the 3rd hand in a row that I've lost, I've now lost interest.
Right. The best.
So it's worked really well. Like, I've had some good trips, right? And I've had some good runs in Vegas, all because winning is fun, losing is not fun, and I have no attention span. So it's worked out really well.
That's funny. The last 2 trips I went to in Vegas, they were both work trips, and I didn't do any gambling. And I'm very happy about that, because I just realized, like, I don't want to lose. I'm here to win. I'm here to get clients. I'm here to learn stuff.
And what I unfortunately or fortunately have learned, that if I go shopping in Vegas, you always come home with something.
There you go.
So if people want to continue this conversation and learn more about how you can help them and what you do, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Yeah, it's our website is brillmedia.co, B as in boy, RIL media.co. We run ads, we do consulting, and we help people solve their marketing challenges.
Love it. Thank you for your honesty and your openness and your frank conversation, and a topic that I'm not great at because I get frustrated with the tech. So
nice. Thanks for having me, Erin. Appreciate it.
Thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Ready Yet podcast. I truly enjoy bringing these stories of success and inspiration to you. Please join us in our mission to empower entrepreneurs to be in charge of their businesses and in charge of their lives by sharing this with anyone you know who would benefit from our tactical and motivating advice, leaving us a review, and letting us know if there are any particular topics you would really appreciate hearing about. See you next time.